So we just won a foreclosure auction last week. So what's next? Are we allowed to start work right away on the property? Can we actually go and kick the people out that are right in there right now because we bought it occupied? What can we really do after we win a foreclosure auction, and what are the next steps? Once again, we are Two Guys Take on Real Estate. We've made about hundreds and hundreds of properties at foreclosure auction. We made a goddamn lot of mistakes, and we teach you from those mistakes so you don't make the same ones. If you have any questions about foreclosure auction specifically, leave a comment right now below. Last week we actually did win a property out in Ware, Massachusetts. The question is, like, what's next? So first off, it was occupied. So and it depends, can be very dependent upon your state. We're in Massachusetts right now. This is the one, and we also buy in Connecticut. So a little different there because that's a judicial state. This is a non-judicial state. So we'll talk a little bit about those. And also while I walk through this property, that's fire damage property, I gotta be careful. Let's see. Whoa! All right. It's a little quieter in here. Now, since this one was occupied, we don't have the right anything to actually go on the property. We have signed what's called a memorandum of sale. So after we won the auction, gave our deposit, we signed basically a purchase and sale agreement. One of those things it states in that agreement, and maybe every state's gonna be a little different, mind you, but what we stated in this one is that we would not step on the property, would not talk to anyone if it's occupied, anything like that, or that could basically violate the sale, and they get to keep our deposit and go re-auction it or sell it to someone else. Obviously, we don't want to violate that. We want to close on the property. So generally, we stay away. In general, we will kind of maybe glance around the property, but we try to be very cautious about that kind of stuff because that could become a big issue. Then what we're doing from there is in our clause, it's a 30-day. So we basically were handling it off. So the second we win it at auction, all right, we then scan the purchase and sale or the memorandum of sale. We scan that. We also make a copy of our deposit check. And then we're sending that off to our lawyer. And every state might be a little different. Maybe you have a title company, something like that instead that handles the transaction. But we send it to our lawyer, and we also send it to our insurance company. And I'll tell you why that is too. All right. So first, we're sending it to our lawyer. He's going to start the paperwork, start working on getting the title work done and making sure they have the right to sell it to us, that they've crossed all their T's, dotted all their I's, if there's no title defects, because we want marketable title. Marketable title means we can fix it up and resell it, whatever we need to do, refinance it. We want marketable title. And if we don't get that, typically we won't close because then you have to wait a certain amount, usually about 3 years before you can actually get a clean title. It's basically the cloud on the title, they call it. And we try to stay away from that situation. And instead, we would ideally make sure we get marketable title. And it does say in our memorandum of sale that we should get marketable title. And so if they don't and they can't produce it, and sometimes they'll ask for basically an extension, which is in the memorandum of sale. So, they can, people get as many extensions as they want, no cost to them. So if it was the reverse, it costs us money. Basically, we can go about, getting the clear title. They can, work on it. And at some point, we can say no more time, and basically we get our deposit back. So that is a possibility. But for the most part, we're looking to buy the property, so we wait typically long. Sometimes it takes more than the 30 days. Sometimes it takes 60 or 90 days we've had. We've even had ones take a lot longer, depending on the situation. But on average, we close them in about 30 to 60 days. We send also off to our insurance company because we have what's called insurable interest now, that we have a contract to purchase the property. Wow, there's a lot of holes in here. I gotta be very careful while I'm recording. Like seriously, look at all those holes. And they got little flimsy half-inch plywood covering some of them. So basically we have now insurable interest. And so what we're looking to do then is we want to make sure we get insurance on the property, because one of the things that it says in the contract that we signed is that we're buying it as is, where is. Basically, from the time that we won at the auction and everything looked okay, if there's a fire and basically now the whole house is burned down, we're technically still responsible per the contract to buy it in that condition in the next 30 days. So even though it's completely changed from when the auction is to now, that doesn't matter. But we had actually a few days before we closed, there was a fire on one of our properties, and basically it was an outside fire. Trash can or something burned her car, went up the siding, melted the siding, went inside, smoke damage everywhere. And basically that, we still had to close a few days later. And so because we also had insurance, because we had insurable interest, we then filed an insurance claim. Now, we did try to work and see if we could file on her insurance. That was because it was occupied, but unfortunately she had let her insurance lapse. So we did file an insurance policy on ours, and because we had insurable interest and all that, and we had gotten a policy, which is small money to be honest, and they looked at basically the ARV values, what we got it set for, and we got paid out about $60,000 for that insurance claim. So that actually covered the majority of the rehab, which was awesome. We got brand new siding on the house, which I wasn't originally intending to, but we had insurable interest. So now this case was actually a really good thing for us, but if you hadn't had that insurance, the actual damage, maybe it was an extra $15,000, $20,000 in actual damage, clean all the soot, replacing, because there was some electrical damage, replacing some of the outlets, and, reside one house. We were able to get, because it's, it was insurance, we were able to get them to side the whole house, and we got, we once again got what's called a public adjuster. So that's something we can do another later video on, but we brought a public adjuster in to have him fight to get us the maximum for our insurance policy. So we highly recommend always using a public adjuster on all of our insurance claims. I mean, I guess if it was something under $10,000, we're probably not even making a claim. But bigger things, we definitely always bring a public adjuster, an internal adjuster. That's someone who works for an insurance company. A public adjuster, they work for you. So once again, that's why we have, so the next thing, is we get insurable interest. We get that. It can cover you. It can save your butt. I really recommend it. I see too many people that, win auctions and they don't do this. And while maybe they never get burned, they can, eventually they will, and it just protects you. It's another form of insurance, literally, to protect you on the asset and your investment. So I highly recommend that everyone do that. So yeah, so then basically, we do that, and then mostly, honestly, it's a sit and wait situation where we just basically wait to close. That's really it on the game. I mean, so once again, I'll just kind of recap. So you win it at the auction, you sign the memorandum of sale, you make a copy of the contract, you make a copy of your check, send that off to your lawyer or title company. They start working on title insurance, making sure you're getting ready for the close, starting to talk to the law firm on the other side for the bank. And then, your insurance company starts binding coverage, and that kind of protects you. And then you just wait to close, because once again, the contract states that you're not supposed to be there. So, while you can make that business decision to start negotiating and talking to the people ahead of time, or if the property is vacant, I have seen even people go in and start renovating the property before they actually own the property, before it's been transferred. And here's the risk with that. While you could do that, it violates the contract. That could be a risk of that. On top of that, let's just say there is a title defect, and you never able to close on that property. You just spent all that money renovating it, and guess what? Now that's the value the bank gets. So why would you do that? Now it does save you some time. Maybe get, all of a sudden you close and now you're putting it right on the market. I just don't like that risk. I'm much more cautious, and so I would recommend not doing that. And once again, it violates your contract, so I would really be cautious on that. So if you have any questions about anything I talked below, please leave a comment below. And if you want to learn more about foreclosure auctions, make sure you subscribe and check out our book, Foreclosures Unlocked, up on Amazon. Get a copy, leave a comment on Amazon, or 5-star review, would appreciate it. And as always, guys, appreciate you coming, and we'll see you on the next one.